Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. This is the first time that I've done one of these, so bear with me. If I could have my first slide, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself so that you get a little bit of background. As usual, you can see I'm with animals. My parents were actually farmers, and I was expected to be a farmer, but I realised very early on that I really wanted to be a veterinary surgeon. But I was way behind at school. I now know that I have dyslexia, and it set me many years behind everybody else. But I finally got into university to study physiology and nutrition at Leeds. Spent 3 years there, got a good honours degree, which got me into Cambridge, where I did the medical sciences tripos, which is the first 2 years that vets and medics do together. I decided that I still wanted to be a veterinary surgeon, so I carried on and did my MA and then my Vet MB, completing that in 1980. Went back into practice. I come from Somerset, a little city called Wells, where I started. And then in 1996, I joined Forever Living as an FBO, as you have done. And about 12 months later, I was asked to join the Professional Advisory Board. So I've been on the board for 22 years now. What do I do most of my time? Well, about half of it is spent with Forever. We have our own team. We are soaring managers in the marketing plan. So I spend a lot of time doing that. I do a lot of work for the company, of course, doing the trainings, doing research. We also farm over 500 acres. I have just under 300 cattle and 200 and so sheep. We're just calving and just about to start lambing at the moment, so it's been busy. I've been with the cattle all day today. So that's enough about me. If I could have the next slide, I'm going to now talk about the benefits of aloe. And you need to go back to the beginning, really. And this slide shows an Egyptian temple engraving from around 2000 BC. So it's actually 4,000 years old. And on that engraving, you can see carved two plants. And they, luckily for us, they're both aloe vera plants. In fact, they are the true aloe vera, Aloe barbadensis, the same ones we use today. And they have a lot of written records of how to use aloe to benefit humans in particular. Aloe is actually Arabic for a shiny, bitter substance, and that's because in those days they used to extract the sap, the bitter aloes, and when it's dried, it looks like a piece of amber. It's very shiny, and if you lick it, it is very bitter. But it wasn't really until about the 1800s that aloe started to be used in the UK and Europe. It was mainly used then in animals, farm animals, and particularly the horse. They even used to call it horse aloes or Cape aloes, and it came particularly from Jamaica. If we could have the next slide, please. This is a lovely picture of one of our plantations. You can see like a yellow hue in the background. That's the flowers. They tend to flower when they're about 3 or 4 years old. We have over 50 million aloe vera plants. 30 million of them are in the Dominican Republic. We do have some in the southern states of America as well, but we ended up in the Dominican Republic because these plants are very susceptible to frosts, and we did lose a lot many years ago, and so Rex decided to start plantations in the Dominican Republic. We have 6,500 acres, and of course we are the largest producer of aloe in the world, the largest plantations. It's been estimated that each plant receives around 2,000 hours of sunlight every year, and we produce about 5 tons of aloe leaves every single day. Over 8 million gallons of pure gel a year, and the raw material will vary. So sometimes when you open your gels, you'll notice there's a slight change in color and texture. Not so much now with the new gels, but with the original stabilized gel, it was much more obvious. It's because of the type of soil they're grown in. They like very dry, sandy soils because they're xerophytes, they're desert living plants. The climate they're in, that will vary. The season of the year that they're cut, and the way that they actually are harvested. As you know, we only harvest the mature leaves by hand. We know they are ripe for picking and are going to have the maximum potential in their gel. Next one, please, Debbie. This is another picture of one of our plantations, and you can see animals there. That's because we don't use any insecticides or pesticides or herbicides on the actual land at all. We tend to rely on hand hoeing or animals, and these are actually sheep. We have herds of sheep and goats which graze certain of the plantations. We also don't use any chemical fertilizers and jets of water over them. Instead of that, we've actually now have a new drip feed system which goes down each row of the plants, and it's basically like a hose pipe which weeps, and we can totally control how much water each plant receives. Even the pumps which work those are solar powered, so we're always trying to look after the environment. We even compost down the rind and use it as a natural fertilizer at a rate of about 30 tons a day. And those of you who've been in the business as long as I have will remember that we used to get all of the gels and the propolis creams, tooth gels in little cardboard boxes, and that was stopped many, many years ago, so we can help decrease the carbon footprint. There's also a very tight recycling program at the production facilities as well. It's been calculated about 20 aloe vera plants convert the same amount of CO2 to oxygen as a tree, which in theory could cleanse the earth around 2 million tons of CO2 each year. So we're always trying to look after the environment. Next one, please, Debbie. Thank you. This is just to show you what part of the plant we use, because you want to know where the benefits are in the plant. And a lot of companies do use different parts, but we always have used the gel fillet from the inside. And you can see from the little diagram here that you have the outer rind where all the nutrients are synthesized. There's about 15 cells thick. It has a waxy coating, so it can prevent evaporation of water because it's living in a desert. It needs to conserve the water. Below that, you'll see what they call the sap. That's where the pericyclic tubules are. That's basically the circulation of the leaf. It's what takes all the nutrients around the leaf. That is very high in the anthraquinones, the bitter aloes. Below that, you have a mucilage layer, and that is basically there to help contain and hold the actual fillet gel into place. And it's very high in the polysaccharides, particularly the acemannan, which is the immunomodulator we will talk briefly about later on. And then beneath that, you can see that most of the leaf is made up of these parenchyma cells, which we call the gel fillet. And if you see the next slide, Debbie, please, this is actually one which has been partially filleted. And I show it because if you look at the top here, we've got the rind coming away, part of the rind, the pale greeny colour, that is pure rind. Then underneath you have little black dots. That is the pericyclic tubules, which contain the anthraquinones. And then below that you have the shiny mucilage layer before you get to the very large parenchyma cells, the gel fillet. So you can see that most of the leaf when we're filleting it contains this gel fillet. Next one, please. So what actually are the active components in the gel which give the benefits? And how do they help to maintain your health and well-being? Well, there are several hundred different nutrients in aloe, but only 75 or so have been identified so far. And we tend to put them into 10 major groupings. Next slide, please, Debbie. I'm not going to go through all of these. If you want to find out more about them, please do come along to one of my trainings where we'll go into a lot of detail, but there isn't time tonight. But very, very briefly, you have lignin, which is a woody substance. It's found with the cellulose, and it helps with skin penetration. That's why it's important, because it carries other compounds down through the epidermis to the dermal layer. The saponins are natural soapy cleansers. They're often seen in many products you buy on the high street or on the internet, but they're naturally going to be soapy and cleaning. Anthraquinones, important group because they are also known as the bitter aloes. They're found in the sap. They give the color and the taste to aloe, and they're naturally antimicrobial. So therefore, you do need a small amount of anthraquinones left in the product. Some companies remove all of the anthraquinones, but if they do that, then of course you lose a lot of the properties. It's a very soothing and calming agent, and it does give mild pain relief as well. So you must have some left. Next one, please. Lots of vitamins. There are 10, in fact, which have been found so far, particularly the B vitamins. This is just a couple. There's actually B1, B2, B3, B6, and B12. They all tend to help with biochemical pathways. It may be the nervous system, it may be muscles, it may be amino acid metabolism. But one which is very important is the B12, the cyanocobalamin, because it was only thought to be present in animal matter. It was called the animal protein factor. It's very important for vegans and vegetarians. They do need to supplement their diets with B12. And there is some B12 in our gel. There's only two main plants they found it in. One has been aloe vera, the other has been spinach. So aloe is a good source to help top up your B12 every day, but you would need to supplement as well. Remember that, because it's only contributing towards your daily requirement. So also sometimes if you are deficient in a vital mineral, or you're a vegetarian or vegan, you may need to supplement in those as well. Next one, please. The B vitamins are water soluble, as is vitamin C, so you need to take those every single day. So that's why it's important to drink your gel every day. There's retinol as well, which you'll know, vitamin A, all to do with your eyes and light stimulation, etc., and how you can actually see things. So it's very important that there's vitamin A present. The vitamin C, as you well know, is very closely associated with the skin and collagen. And then if we go on to the next groupings, please. Next slide, please. Vitamin E, also known as tocopherol. That one is very important for your muscles. It's linked with selenium, and so it's very interesting that we have got vitamin E in our product. So with selenium, it can actually help make sure that you've got good muscle formations. Next one, please. Minerals, there are 9 different minerals identified so far, and again, I'm not going to go through them all. They range from calcium, potassium, copper, iron, manganese, magnesium, zinc. You can go on and on through them, but this is just one. Calcium, as you know, it's in your skeleton, but also it's very important for muscle contraction, nerve impulses, and even hormones. The amino acids, you need 20. 19 are found in aloe vera, which is quite amazing, and 7 of those that you have to have every day, the essential ones, they're found in your aloe as well. It's only L-tryptophan which is missing, so it's a very, very good source of amino acids, and these are the building blocks of your proteins, your muscles. Plant enzymes are present. Fatty acids, they're quite interesting because they're very soothing and calming and good for cleaning areas. And of course, salicylic acid. Most plants contain salicylic acid. It's been used for centuries to get rid of dead cells on your skin, exfoliation, and it's present naturally in aloe as it is in many other plants. Next one, please. This is a very important group. It's one that I've been studying now for 20 years because it's all involved with your immune system. In the aloe, you find all sorts of sugars. You get simple sugars. They're called monosaccharides, and you'll know them as glucose and fructose. But also there's long chains of sugars called polysaccharides. And there's one very important one called glucose mannose. And that one is ace-mannin. Some companies have extracted it as an actual product, and it's called carosin. And it has a definite effect on your immune system. I've shown in research that it can actually increase your antibody production. So that makes your immune system stronger. It also aids absorption of other nutrients from your digestive system, and it acts as a prebiotic. A lot of people know about probiotics, the actual bacteria, but prebiotics are the essential sugars that the good bacteria need to feed on. They're called oligosaccharides, and they're actually present in aloe vera. So again, if you drink your aloe every day, you are going to get good prebiotics for your good bacteria. Next one, please. Okay, so overall, what are these actions? What are these benefits that you can get from drinking your aloe every day, as I've done for over 20 years now? It's got essential nutrients. We've been through those. It's a wonderful cleanser for the skin because it contains the saponins. It penetrates through your epidermis to your dermal layer because it has the lignin in it. Wonderful moisturizer. I mean, you know, if you look on the high street at products or on the internet, they're always putting in aloe to try to convince you that it's moisturizing. The trouble is they only put tiny, tiny amounts in. All our products have high amounts of aloe, and then we make them into soap, shampoos, skin products, etc. Great for debriding. That word means that if you have a lot of dead cells on your skin, say around a wound, for example, it will get rid of those for you, improves the blood flow to the skin, and increases cell division. This is under control, so the actual epithelial cells in your fibroblasts will multiply around 3 times their normal rate until, for example, a wound is healed. So a wound will heal about a third quicker than normal if you use aloe from day one. Very soothing and calming, and it has no real side effects either. Next one, please. Oh, you're jumping ahead now. Very good. Thank you, Debbie. Where do they actually work? What are the 2 main areas? Well, I'm sure you're aware the 2 main areas are the epithelial tissues and the immune system. But we must remember when we're looking at epithelial tissues, it's not just your skin. It's also any orifice or hole in your body, and you've got quite a few of them, which actually meet with your skin will have epithelial tissue. And this applies to obviously all the animals as well. It's not just humans. This means that in the oral cavity you have these types of cells, the digestive system, respiratory systems, eyes, ears and nose, in the urinary system, the genital systems, all those have this type of cell, and even the lining of your joints. And on the other side, it's the immune system, and we know that the ace-mannin is a natural immunomodulator, so it's trying to keep and maintain the health of your immune system. So if you drink your gut every day, you're going to have a very balanced immune system, a very strong immune system. Next one, please. So the actual product itself, and here you can see the 2 containers, the 1 litre and the 330 ml, the new one. This information applies to both, and it's something that is very useful to keep hold of because it goes through all of the main points. A lot of these are useful selling points as well, but it contains 99.7% pH balanced filleted inner leaf gel. The recommended serving is 60 to 120 mils a day for a human. For adult humans, I do tend to recommend 120 mils to maintain your health, and I've been doing this now, as I've said, for over 20 years. It has no added sugar. In the old stabilized product, sorbitol was added as a sugar. There's none added now, but there will be some calories, of course, because it does contain natural fruit sugars or plant sugars. So there's 2.5 calories per 120 mils, which is nothing to worry about. Because vitamin C is added, we have over 84% of the recommended daily intake if you're taking 120 mils a day. So that is a real contribution to your vitamin C, which you need on a daily basis, as I said, because it is water soluble. Recyclable carton, no chemical preservatives. The only things added are ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, and citric acid. That's the only 2. And those 2 are naturally found in aloe vera anyway. It's aseptically produced and pH balanced. The pH balancing is coming from the citric acid and the ascorbic acid. And the actual aseptic part is because it is flash heated to retain freshness. This is a very, very short period, less than 15 seconds at below pasteurization temperature, which does not damage the actual gel at all. In fact, what it does do, as you'll see further down this slide, it increases the bioavailability of the nutrients found in aloe, and particularly the vitamins and the ace-mannin are increased. We grow all the plants on our own plantation, so it's fully traceable. Anything that you consume, any food you consume, or any drinks you have, you need to know where it came from. Is it fully traceable? We can trace it back to the plantations where these plants originated. We only cut by hand the mature leaves, so we know that they are going to have the most potential in the gel fillet inside of them. Hand-picked, and that happens within 6 hours. They're processed as well, and therefore you're getting something which is essentially identical to the fresh gel. They also, by this new aseptic system and the pH balancing, you'll find that you get additional benefits in maintaining the health of not only the epithelial cells in the immune system, but also the digestive system, because it aids nutrient absorption. It has the large container, the 1 litre container, has a 2-year shelf life. The 1 litre container is also available as tri-packs. They all have the International Science Council certification, suitable for vegetarians and vegans, halal and kosher certified, and when refrigerated, the 1 litre carton keeps for 30 days, and the 330 is 14 days. Next one, please. Debbie, next one. Well done, thank you. This is a useful slide because when you start using gel yourself, or you have a customer who asks you, well, I've got a rabbit or a dog or a horse, how much do I give? You need to know a rule of thumb of where to start. And so you'll see there, for example, with the humans who are in with the pigs and the sheep, they have between 60 to 120 mils. I normally work them up to 120, and then after 2 weeks, then I may start to decrease. But in my opinion, 120 is the ideal amount for an adult. In a dog weighing 30 kilos, they're on about 60 mils, and the same applies. After about 2 weeks, you can start to decrease the amount. But I wouldn't. I would try and stay where you are. So there you have a lot of different animals, from the children's pets right through to the horses. Of course, we also give our products to lots of other zoological animals. I did a lot of work with gorillas. Nico, who was one of the oldest gorillas ever in captivity, he was 51 years old. He was on our gel for many, many years, and there's lovely videos of him drinking our gel, and particularly actually our Freedom. But we've had elephants on Elephant Watch, and we've had all sorts of animals like killer whales. There's all sorts of animals which benefit from our products.